Each one of you, I would like to welcome Mr. to take over the session.
Wait for 2 more minutes. Thank you once again. Thanks to the ICFOSS team for doing a fantastic effort in actually creating resources, knowledge resources uh, for like women in this part of Kerala. And I've been coming here more regularly, taking some lectures in the school. So where I am last today, approximately 2 hours, right? Okay. So the plans to introduce you to linguistic sciences very briefly, and then kinds of data that we need. Data we roughly call it resource, right? And all languages are resource poor because most Indian languages don't have enough resource to create LLM. In LLM, we need a huge amount of data, huge. Really. Sometimes they have to create synthetic data, only natural data is not sufficient to train in LLM, so we have to create synthetic data. And synthetic data has its own flaws. Recently reviewed a paper somewhere where a large portion of data being coming from the synthetic methods, and it has its own errors. I'll be from introducing to you the linguistic sciences in your reference level. We'll go to the data aspect, and then from the data aspect, we will talk about the challenges in creating data in a multilingual country like India. And then when we do create data, how do we create it? What are the things needed to create data? Finally, show you some examples how to quickly bootstrap data creating, using human manpower and also machine power and all of that. So let's go. And I believe all of you are from both computer science background, linguistics background, which background? Linguistics, no. How many linguistics? Others are computer science or technology? How many computer science? How many other disciplines? Mathematics. Okay. So computer science, mathematics, linguistics. Any other discipline? Literature. Which literature?
English.
English. Anybody else? Electronics and communications. Well, so diverse. Good. So linguistics, relatively modern discipline in the 19th century, might say earlier. So there's a controversy with linguistics, what we call the Indo-European controversy. We heard about the European controversy? We heard about Indo-European or Proto-Indo-European? Have you heard about Sanskrit being the mother language of many languages? Now, there was this guy called William Jones, who was the Kolkata administration of the British India Company, and we used to hire what we call the civil servants in India. They were trained, they were hired by an exam in England. They had to be trained because they were to be appointed in India. So to train them in India, they had to be trained in Indian culture, language, texts, etc. So the civil services exam those days used to have a compulsory Sanskrit, compulsory Persian, a compulsory Latin questions. And when they were selected, they were trained in the Indian text. And to do that, the Asiatic Society, Kolkata was supposed to create text. William Jones started the translation process at Shakuntalam, because Shakuntalam was translated into English. Those days there were no Pandits who could know English. Pandits used Persian, and Persian did not knew English. So indirectly, the text was translated from English to from Sanskrit to Persian, and from by someone else, and then Persian to English by someone else. That process William just noted a lot of common words in Sanskrit, in English, and Persian. And since we have knowledge of some Greek or Latin text, he said, "Oh, a lot of Greek words are also common." And he wrote a famous note that there must be some common source of these languages. And the word India at one end, Europe at the other end, Indo-Europe. And then the British declared in the parliament that now we have found our lost brothers in India. It is our duty to stay in India and help them. A lot of politics in Europe happened. Then the Proto-Indo-European, the original family was imagined, and from that original family, Vedic, Greek, Latin, Iranian, Indic languages would have merged. A lot of these things. So, whole of 19th century, with the linguistics discipline, they started looking at the original source. There was this two relations: India was the original source, or the Europe was the original source. Where people move from Europe to India and India to Europe. It's still going on across. You don't know. Just yesterday there was a talk, panel discussion where I participated in this. Now, the formal studies on language, we are dealing with the formal studies, right? We are not dealing with the language families. Languages are sister or kin languages, etc. We are dealing with all language and the formal structures of the language. The machines have to be trained on those structures. Unless machines recognize the structures in language, they are not intelligent. Right? The founder of AI, John McCarthy, noted that in 1959 in the Art of Conference. Machines have to understand natural language to be intelligent. Alan Turing, 1950 article, read that article? Computing Machine Intelligence. You read that, it's a very simple article. Computing Machinery Intelligence, Alan Turing, 1950. Right? And this is that machines have to understand natural language. And natural language is complex. Why? Because there are layers of speech and unspeak to you sounds. So your brain must be parsing sounds. Right? Unless they understand how to parse sounds, nothing happens. Right? So if kids are deaf, they can't have language. But they can't hear. From sounds, you know how to combine sounds into larger structures, syllables. From syllables to words, from words to sentences, sentences to discourses. All of that. And machines have to understand these to be intelligent. And most of communication machines will have natural language. They have to understand natural language text. They have to understand how to generate text. They have to understand images. If they understand images, they have to generate text. For example, reading the car's number plate. It's just an image, right? You take a picture of the image, our eyes take a picture of the image, and convert it to language. DL506 number plate of Delhi. Right? Unless I know DL, the letter between English alphabet, I can't make it that is the number plate. Otherwise, it's only an image. Image is a rectangle with something background, some foreground, some colors, etc. That's pretty much. If a child to read that number plate, it will be an image for a child. Pre-lingual child. One who has not developed the language, for that child, the number content will be simply an image, garbage, some patterns, right? Some industry patterns or industry patterns. The person who knows language becomes very different, right? So therefore, in everything that AI does, we have to have large language model. Remember, those of you who have done computer science, do you know Noam Chomsky? What's the word Chomsky hierarchy of grammars, right? Unrestricted phrase structure grammar, type 0, type 1, context sensitive grammar, type 2, context free grammar, type 3, regular grammar. These grammars are given by Chomsky, who was a linguist. That's my thing. Why? To have a parser for artificial languages, so that compilers could do it. The fact that we have compilers are based on type 2 context free grammars, CFGs. Right? Why saying that we can maximize the communication that I look at English language and create an artificial Java or C or PHP, whatever. The words are English, but these are not English. If I know English, I can't hope to learn any programming language because the words are English. Why? Because that's a different language. Similarly, if I know Sanskrit, I can't read Ashtadhyayi, the grammar of Pandit. Because Pandit used Sanskrit to create an artificial language, to write grammar of a natural language. Pandit wrote an artificial language to write grammar of a natural language. Nobody has been able to do it so far. Chomsky wrote artificial grammars to compile artificial languages, like Java, C, programming, etc. Nobody has written an artificial grammar to completely solve a natural language. The grammar models that have emerged pre-machine learning AI, they try their best to capture natural language like HPSG, CFG, a lot of these grammars were used for natural languages. But none of them were actually able to capture completely. With Noam Chomsky failed miserably in his entire academic career to come up with a sound system for even English language. But Pandit's grammar is the only grammar so far written artificially for a natural language. Right? So that kind of scenario we're looking at when we look at linguistics as a formal discipline, where we have layers of structures, sounds, words, sentences, meaning, pragmatics, discourse, etc. And we train ourselves since childhood with this data. We don't train ourselves when the child is in the womb of mother, he or she hears sounds. Must be hearing sound, right? The ear has done that. But those are insufficient data to generate any model. I think so. No, we don't know. There's nothing to conclusively prove that the child is not a model. Language. We don't know. But child has some capacity to quickly learn language in 1 or 2 years' time. Right? So the child is continuously trained in the voluminous data that the child gets, visual, perceptual, the lingual, the phonetic data, right? And the correlation between all of them. To train himself or herself faster in 2 years' time, and they start talking in 1 or 2 years' time. Effortlessly. You're looking at that kind of scenario where a machine is trained with all kinds of data, multi-modal data. When I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you in sounds only. If I spoke, I just speak like that, speak like that, without any expressions. But human beings are expressive human beings. They express. There's a lot more to see than to hear, right? We all agree. There's a lot more to see and feel than to hear. So all this multimodality aspect of data were there. But Pandit started all that, 7th century BC. And I don't think I'll be discussing Pandit in this lecture, but maybe sometime. Another great man was Ferdinand Saussure. Ferdinand de Saussure, he was European linguist. He taught linguistics at Switzerland. And, He had PhD in Sanskrit, fundamental Sanskrit. In Sanskrit Karaka, the generative case of Sanskrit. He taught for 3 decades, and then his ideas were published. Book, almost 17 universities. Bloomfield, who was the 20th century linguist from America, he's also called the father of American structuralism. Leonard Bloomfield, again a linguist. His famous book of 1925 on language, you should have a look at it. In the introduction of that book, he mentions that Parnani's grammar is one of the most intelligent specimen of human intelligence. He says that. And after that, Parnani's grammar was translated many times in the Europe, and the Western intellectuals, linguists, came in close contact with Parnani. I was visiting professor at Florence University, 1914. Yeah. And I thought I'll boast Parnani with people over there. And there was this lady in the department, and we were having dinner together. I told her, you know Parnani? Yes, we know Parnani. We teach Parnani. So they teach Parnani to the Florence University, right? And what Bloomfield said, that Parnani's model is indispensable for describing languages. Remember, 1925, he says, Parnani's grammar is indispensable for describing languages. Language are 2 kinds, natural and artificial. And Parnani had been used for both. So from Parnani to Bloomfield, from Parnani to Saussure to Bloomfield to Jelly Harris, to Noam Chomsky, and Noam Chomsky to IBM to get the Algol language. There's a clear tradition of Parnani. So, Noam Chomsky, when 1957, he joined MIT 55, I believe, 55. Then 57, he comes up with a book called Syntactic Structures. Syntax. You know what syntax is good in the compiler also, right? Programming language have syntax, don't they? How many of you program? Write good programs. Anybody? I will program. Anybody else? So Java. Anybody else? We write programs. We run a compiler to compiler. What is compiler check? Compiler is the grammar of that. It checks whether what you have written is as per the grammar or not. If not, it will report errors. And it reports syntax errors. Whether the construction is syntactically correct or not. Every language has syntax. In Hindi, we use verbs at the end. In Malayalam, we use verbs at the end. If someone uses verbs not at the end, human beings tolerate. It's okay, that's fine. I still understand. The program is object, no, this is not correct. So compiler is an intolerant system. It says, no, I can't tolerate any syntax error. Unless you fix it, I don't go for that. I don't translate. If syntax is okay, compiler translates programming language communication into bytecode. Then machines understand. Right? Machines understand 0-1 communication. Right? Unless you express that, machines won't. So, Noam Chomsky's contribution was that he said that okay, human beings are, when they are born with a system which is specific to human beings. Animals are born with a system specific to animals. So dogs will understand dog communication, cat communication. Even if dogs live with you all their life, they can't understand your communication. They may get trained in some bits and pieces of communication. Horses get trained when they live with you with some small communication, but they can't understand your entire communication of beings. Either you can understand their communication. Before Chomsky, there was this guy called Skinner, Professor Skinner at Harvard University. He believed that human languages can be taught to animals, parrots. In India also, some people say the parrots can be taught to recite Vedas, etc. But that's only training, not really learning. Remember. And he used to train parrots, and Pavlov used to do experiments on dogs. You must have heard about that. And, but Chomsky came and said, "No, this is not good. This is not true. Human beings have a language which is specific to human beings. So language is species specific. And when human beings are born, the children have the language acquisition device. You put that child in any culture, it becomes that child. You put a child in Delhi, you learn Hindi. My daughter, when she came to Delhi, she knew no Hindi. And in 6 months' time, her Maithili disappeared and Hindi became. So, children you put anywhere, they will pick up that. So, it means that there is a language neutral device. Right? Wherever you put the child, it becomes that kind of culture. Right? So, that kind of neutrality, we are looking at large language models. Algorithms. So imagine there's an algorithm, we have trained ChatGPT on that algorithm. So it is an instance of large language model, ChatGPT, right? But when we, from that instance, we retrain ChatGPT with another language, it's impossible to delink from the previous experience. So for example, child is still a brand new algorithm. You put a child in a different culture, it learns things originally. Now, I go to China. Even if I learn Chinese, I retain my Indian sanskar. Hindi or Maithili or whatever sanskar, right? Chat GPT, retrain, new language, it will retain previous sanskar. It should retain. Idea is to brand new algorithms, retrain, ab initio. But Chomsky actually came up with all the ideas. I remember I wrote a spoof on the whole thing. I was doing a psycholinguistics course at University of Illinois on a Champaign. In that course, I was supposed to write a term paper. So my term paper was, on those days, there was a movie that had come, Ghostbuster. See, Ghostbuster movie? No. So there's a group company hired to catch ghosts, right? So I want to spoof that, there's two groups, this Skinner's group and then there is a Chomsky group, and they are fighting with each other. So Chomsky group, the Ghostbuster, is catching the ghosts, followers of Skinner, and trying to decimate Skinnerian ideology and propagate Skinnerian ideology. Something like that. So Chomsky has been phenomenal. His books, 1957, Syntactic Structures, followed by just 8 years later, 1965, Aspects of the Curious Syntax. The two books, he comes up with a possible model of grammar in human brain. And I looked at that model very closely, and I looked at Panini's model very closely. I found Panini to be dominating and Panini to be the inspiration for Chomsky. And Chomsky does mention Panini in the first book, 1957. He mentions Panini as the generative programmer. So it's quite possible that the Panini's successive translations by Western European linguists and rebellions influenced a generation of linguists. Saussure, Bloomfield, Alice, Noam Chomsky, all of them. And then what we have today is certainly a lot of Panini, directly or indirectly. So when we talk about language, we do levels of language, sounds, combination of sounds, profiles, etc. I still all that. So when I'm looking at the language samples, bimodal samples, suppose I have to train a speech system. Are you aware of the automatic speech recognition, ASR? This is the first lecture, right? So you have no idea about NLP as yet. Okay, so you haven't done any NLP, right? So when we do sounds, we train ASR, automatic speech recognition. So I'm speaking, machine is going to write it for me. Speech to text, right? The reverse is text to speech. In both cases, machines have to have capacity of sounds. Otherwise, there will be no dialogue, no communication with machine. So when I identify what are the unique sounds, the phonemic inventory of sounds in a language, like we say, ga, 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 we don't have ga in Malayalam, do we? We have ga, ga, we have, ga, we have, there's no ga, no is there? Good. And we have nga, all five inventory in Malayalam. Just like Sanskrit, all five. But in Tamil we have only three or two perhaps. So we look at the inventory of sounds, unique sounds in the language, and we count. And then next step is how these sounds will combine to reach the phonology. Which sounds combine with which sound? Not everybody will combine with everybody. Pandey says savarna, savarna. Sounds of the similar class, they combine together. Vowels with vowels, consonants, some consonants, some vowels. We call it sound classes. We create sound classes. The Pandey's grammar starts with sound classes. Unless we know sound classes, we can't combine them. We say prati eka, pratyeka. So E of prati and A, E and A can combine. Leading to ya, pratyeka. Not all sounds will combine with all sounds. Right? And there is a universal class in this. Because all human beings have the same orthography. We have kantha, we have talu, we have velar sounds, we have palate, we have teeth, we have lips. We all pronounce sounds, right? So when sounds combine, they follow some paradigm. To Pandey's grammar comes up with this universal paradigm of sound combination. Then Chomsky also says that human beings put language out and universal paradigm. Chomsky came up with universal grammar. Human language are with universal grammar. Universal principles are there in human beings, right? And then when we have known how to combine sounds together, we also know how to build words. We create what appears in the commission. I'm the 24th chairman of the commission of scientific and technical terminology. And we always are faced with this problem: how to create new words. If the concept is not there, you say, for example, Malayalam does not have the concept for AI. Terminology. We have to build terminology in Malayalam for AI. So currently we are building initially of AI for all languages. First we use Sanskrit and Hindi, then we come to other languages. For that we come to develop and create the Malayalam instead of AI. So the problem is how when you create words. For example, you create computer in your language. Then all the collocations are computer. Computer, computers, plural, then computational, then computerized, computerization. All the collocations of computer have to be created in that language. So we have to be careful in creating the basic word. So that all the possibilities are there. Otherwise, you end up having like in Hindi, se wala, this wala, food wala, everywhere. And you create the collocations. Then you have computers, plural, and then we have derivations, computers, computerization. So word creation, word building is a technique. And each language has its own grammar, how to develop words. That's the morphology. The two kinds of morphology, derivational, like say computerization. We are deriving computerization from computer. But when I say computers, I'm creating plural. It's not a new word, but only the inflection, number that can add computers. But computerization is a new word. It means something else. Right? Many languages in the world, how they create plural, they just double it. In Indonesian, when you say computers, they will say computer. After Indonesia, we will not say computer, they will say computer. To create plural. Each language has a different strategy to create words. So keeping that in mind, we generate words as morphomes. And Indian languages are very rich in morphomes, very rich. So any LLM in India has to look into this aspect. How we can get more words using morphological generation process. Example, Sanskrit. To train an LLM, we need say 2 billion words. If I convert the entire Sanskrit tradition text, I don't get 2 billion words. I did a count, not counting. I mean, I have to show you the not counting. So how to get the additional 3 billion words? We generate. So there are 2000 verb roots in Sanskrit. There are 180 possibilities for each verb root as per the different tense and aspects. Right? Like go, went, gone, etc. All these forms of word. All languages have. So in Sanskrit, there is 180 possibility for one verb root. Then each verb root can have 21 prefixes. So 180 into 21 permanents in combination. Then 7 suffixes. So you do all that and you create normal. Right? I call it synthetic data, not natural data. Many of them will not be used in Sanskrit. Because only out of 2000 words, only 500 are used. Right? So all this possibility is done through morphology generation. The syntax, how do you put a word in a sentence for good communication? If a machine does not understand how to put words in a sentence, how will the machine speak? It will speak a nonsense. Machines have to speak like humans to be intelligent. There was the Turing, around Turing 1950. The Turing test that around Turing gave. You know what is the Turing test? There is a curtain, and on one side is the machine, on the other side is the human being. They both are talking to each other, and they don't know they are talking to a computer or human. They both know that they are talking to human beings. When machine is able to fool a human being, then it is human. Then only it is intelligent. That is the Turing test. And how do you fool? By your speech, by your voice. Right? So that is the basic test. And this test has been successful in some areas and not in many areas. Therefore, you're looking at getting large language models which can do a lot of this, cover a lot of categories. So syntax is critical because syntax in many languages, which is rich in morphology, like Indian languages, syntax becomes fluid. Fluid means whether you say in Hindi, Dhoni ne dhawal kiya, newspaper, dhawal kiya. Kiya is verb, so it comes at the end. But Z television will say Dhoni ne kiya dhawal. So kiya comes earlier, dhawal comes later. Still find no problem. But in English language, it will be a problem. Those languages which are rigid in syntax cannot do this liberty of, we call it, mixing, scrambling. The word is scramble, scrambling, words in a sentence, not onto their designated positions. So Indian languages are rich in morphology, fluid, liberal in syntax. So a language which is liberal in syntax, computers will have a hard time understanding the correct order that they have to speak. In Sanskrit, it is much more fluid. You speak anyone anywhere, as long as their morphological sound will be the same. There's a very interesting situation in Bangla. We were doing, was invited by Sikh at Kolkata to help them. They had this prologue passed. Have you heard of prologue language? You haven't heard? You heard? Prologue in this part is considered the original AI language. Now it's Python. When I did the course, Introduction to Artificial Intelligence at UIUC, University of Illinois Urbana, right, in 1997. The course was called Introduction to AI, but it was a course in programming in Lisp and so on. If you did a course today, you will do machine learning and Python. Right? So things have changed. So syntax is fluid. In Sanskrit, much more fluid, and Indian languages less fluid. And to understand the correct communication, machines have to understand how we take liberty with our syntax. Dhoni ne dhawal kiya, dhoni ne dham kiya, dhawal. My in Hindi, I don't understand Malayalam. So my Trivandrum gaya, my Trivandrum चला ही गया, चला ही तो गया. So even the word phrase in Dravidian is very complex. You can have negation part of it, you can have a lot of other things part of it. When you break the word phrase, you have to put things at some other places, and that complicates the sentence. Machines have to understand this sentence. And much more when this language gets mixed. Because now people are moving faster from India, north, south, east, west, lot of roads, airplanes, jobs. So people are actually getting mixed up. Southern movies are very popular in north, and people are moving here and there. Southern stars are popular in north, northern stars are popular in south. So a lot of movement, marriages happen. So language is getting more and more mixed. So there will be more challenges for the machine. So when you think of large language model, you have to understand the complexity of data. We're just talking to Sunil Ji regarding trying to create a visual data rather than data set from machines to understand images. Now, I remember doing, when I was a student at UIUC, there was this Motorola project that was part of the ComSci lab there. This Motorola project, Motorola that time was trying to build a car navigation system, which would, this is like 1990s, late 90s. And I don't know whether they built it or not, but they were trying to get data from diversity of people. So since we were from India, so they gave us a text to read, and we were on camera taking pictures, and I read the text, and whatever expressions came on my face, they were recorded. And it's really that the expressions will vary depending on gender, class of people, location, and culture and language, all of that. Now imagine a Malayalam person from here gets transferred to Delhi. So his gesturing capacity will be influenced by the Delhi culture. And the language is there, Malayalam is there. So now he speaks Malayalam with a mixed gesture. So machines in future have to also understand this. Another side is manuscript, manuscript that we write. There was a Mahabharata manuscript rewritten in Bengal area, rewritten. And there was no printing, so people used to write and distribute. So Mahabharata manuscript was rewritten in Bengal area. The Bengali person wrote it in Devanagari. But unconsciously he introduced Bangla script conventions in the Devanagari. Possible, right? My mother's script will come in. So now we have a script, manuscript with two scripts, or one script being influenced by another script. So virtually a system in India, a large language model has to understand all languages, all scripts, and mixing with English also. English is the big language, right? So therefore complexity in India is much more. And semantics, meaning, whether the meaning is from the words in the sentence or meaning outside. For example, sarcasm. I would say, आप तो बहुत बड़े ज्ञानी हैं। आप बहुत बड़े ज्ञानी, you are a knowledgeable person. I am saying sarcastically. I mean the opposite. That you are not getting a job. So a lot of these things are semantics, whether the meaning it can be collected, compositionally from within the sentence or meaning lies outside. But the meaning is contextual. Grammatics, we study that every context has a new meaning. And discourse, you start here, you end here. And you don't know what the meaning is. When you end, then you get to the meaning. And there is a discussion in Sanskrit by Patanjali and Bhartrihari. They say, when does the meaning become clear? There is a good discussion on cow. So when I say cow, I start saying who. When I finish the word, then the meaning, then the image of cow flashes in my brain, or when they started saying. So human beings are very smart. They will guess your entire communication and start matching the meaning right in the beginning. They are not waiting to hear from you the entire discourse. Their mind will be busy getting what exactly you want to say. And they can guess immediately what exactly you are going to say. That always happens. We don't wait till the end of the conversation. Whether you say a word or a sentence or a discourse. So all of that are going to bring in new dimensions. And we discussed a lot of ideas. I just had 15 minutes of discussion with the director, and we discuss so many problems. Right? Now, the question is speech, language, and multimodality. Modes of communication we communicate by writing, we communicate by speech, we communicate by speech and gestures, we communicate by writing and gestures. Possible, the right and the gesture. Okay? The right and putting images, the writing. And bigger question is speech versus language. Speech is what comes out of mouth. Bhasha. So Pandit's language was is Bhasha. He did not know Sanskrit. Pandit says, I'm writing grammar for Bhasha. Bhasha is two kinds. One I use to speak in everyday life, and one I use to write textbooks. Textbook Bhasha is standard. Then I'm writing separate rules of grammar from that language. And for day-to-day language, I'm writing separate rules of grammar. Right? The two sets of language. Right now, I'm speaking the standard English. On the street, I'll speak Chalu English. Both can have different grammar. The Pandit realized that early. He says, I'm writing two sets of grammar. One for the Laukiki, used in Loka, other for Vaidiki, used for writing. Not Veda, used for writing. When you write textbook, you write standard. You don't write the Chalu language of place A, place B, place C, right? You write the language, which will be used in all the places. The textbook will be used in all the places. So he knew that, and he wrote two sets of rules. Similarly, when I say speech, I speak in my own way and in my own style. I have to communicate with one set of people. But when I speak in a language neutral situation like this, I have to speak a standard way, so everybody understands. Right? The language is much more broad. It includes speech, it includes writing, it includes communication, it includes dreams, thoughts, anything you can imagine. Language is much more broad. Right? So spoken text versus written text versus acted text. Do you have a text or image? So there's a dance performance in Bharatanatyam. Can machine generate text from the dance? What exactly is being acted? So interpretation of a performance. Similarly, interpretation from the sign language. Interpretation from image to text. Any graphs. Go to a smaller level, we have a graphs and images, the machine can write text on it. We have a Google Lens does it. So I was in ICFOSS Kolkata for a seminar, and there was this gentleman, professor, speaking only in Bangla and having only Bangla slides. So I put my Google Lens there, and Bangla slide became Hindi slides. Instantly. So I could understand what was actually being talked about. So what this Google Lens did, it looked at the image of this slide and took out the text, the foreground, by ignoring the background. The foreground is the text, then translated that text in Hindi and put back the slide there, and I could read the slide. Right? So when we say spoken text, written text, and acted text text could be images, videos, etc. Spoken text, we speak. But we never speak without video. We speak with gestures, always. Right? We never speak without acting. We always speak with it. But there is a difference in language and script. Not to be confused. Language script is script. Language does not need script. We can speak and we find. We need script when we are unsure. Whatever we speak will get lost or something, will disappear, so we start writing. Right? That way, we need language and script. So all of these things are pretty clear. Different kinds of linguistic inquiry. When we say linguistic inquiry, it's historical versus syncretic. So when we look at language at a different period, ancient period, modern period, medieval period, we say historical. Origin of Malayalam, and ancient age, middle time, modern Malayalam, modern future Malayalam. Can machine predict what will be the shape of Malayalam sentence tomorrow? Of the data which is today, can machine predict what the kids will be speaking? Right? Possible to predict. The kind of mixing is happening today, kind of sentences kids use today, what will be they speak tomorrow, 5 years later? Friction. From what is being spoken today, what was 100 years earlier? There are no written records available. Can we predict what was the Shipo Malayalam 100 years earlier? That kind of historical language. Synchronic is correct. I think the current Malayalam, and look at what are the structures there. That is synchronic linguistics. Theoretical was applied. Theoretical linguistics, what are the theories involved? Universal language, language and device, the language learning theories, how language, first language learning is different from second language learning, how mother tongue influences other learning. All these theoretical things, Theories of translation, applied, when you apply, you translate with it. You teach a student how to learn a language. You teach, one language. Is it applied? Computational English is applied. Creating a large language model applied. Right? And language is mind, broader questions. How human beings' evolution is linked to language. The difference between human beings and animals. Animals are much more powerful physically, but they don't have language that we have. So they evolve at a slower rate than we have evolved. And we are still evolving with a faster rate. So why language is so important for human brain? Language and mind. Many people have discussed that Chomsky has a book with the same title, Language and Mind, 1980. Very simple book, read that, very interesting book. You must read some of Chomsky's books. Language as a means of knowing is not little deeper. When we know something, is language involved in knowing? Can we know without language? Can we say anyone does not have language? Can anyone be without language? People who are deaf and dumb, do they still have language or not? Can we know, is our knowledge an embodiment of language? If you remove language from brain, what remains? Can human being be without language? All these fundamental questions are asked. And in Indian tradition, there was a huge discussion on Shabda. Shabda as a means of communication, means of knowing. The moment I say computer, for example, is knowledge faster than the brain. There is a template in the brain, there is a template outside, they must match certain percentage, certain threshold to recognize as computer. I see computer, the knowledge sparkles in the brain. For that to happen, there must be certain percent of match. Even that I have, even that is basic. I may see laptop 1, laptop 2, laptop 3. All laptops are matched with some laptop image in the brain. Template, laptop template, schema. Unless that happens, I can't recognize that. I can recognize all of you. You may come in red dress, black dress, yellow dress, but I still recognize you. So there is a template of you in that brain. No matter what you wear, how you look, you still are that person. So that kind of templating is there, and all of that has been discussed in great details in the tradition. And language is a means of coding artificial intelligence, and language is a means of coding artificial intelligence. Artificial language, programming languages, all languages. You cannot code AI in your language. Python is a simple file. I do Java, and Java is just a little bit more complicated compared to Python. And Python is a simplified language, but still language. That's how machines understand. Machines understand 0 and 1s. Imagine you have only 2 letters to represent the car, 0 and 1. No and yes. You can communicate with no and yes and no, right? So something like that. So it's a massive area. Much more deeper than what we call LLM, much more deeper issues are there, and many areas because there are psycholinguistics, social linguistics, etc., etc. So look at the areas, psycholinguistics, language and mind. How we learn language? First language, second language, language and mind, etc., etc. That is psycholinguistics. Neurolinguistics, language and brain. If there is a person with language difficulty, he had some kind of lesson, and as a result, he is forgotten to speak. Like one of my friends in America, he was crossing the road, he was hit by a truck. was hit by a truck, his left hemisphere got damaged completely. Left hemisphere is damaged in this incident. This was localized. Then through surgery, his brain was repaired, and then after 1 year, he comes to JNU to meet me. And I remember I spoke to him and his wife. And he sounded perfectly normal in terms of his sentence production capacity. He will produce normal, he spoke in my field, so normal my field. But he would frequently forget what he must say. And he would frequently change topics. Right? Two things. And third, he called his wife mother. He got initialized. When he was a child, he got initialized, right? So you grow up, and the moment that helps you goes into mother. The wife is now because of the wife mother. I haven't met him in several years. I don't know how he's progressing now. So very interesting situations that come when we talk about neurolinguistics. So neurolinguistics, when you get hit, how other parts of the brain take the same function, how we can do repair, and then what kind of aphasia are there. A lot of studies are being done in that area. So when someone has a poor language development, how can we do language therapy, speech therapy, etc. All of those things are there. Computer linguistics is all about what we are doing. In forensic linguistics, when there's a crime, there's a language sample there, how that can be analyzed. You go to the root of the crime. Language forensic linguistics. There are clinical linguistics, language pathology. The language pathology is part of the neurolinguistics where we basically treat people for the language deficiency and the problems, people surgery, etc. All those things. In fact, there's any brain surgery, a linguist has to do that. But due to surgery, something happened and he's forgotten to speak. That is a problem. So, linguist is there to help. You do not do a bad surgery. That affects language. Translation studies are there to translate from language to language. Language preservation documentation. How to preserve older languages, the languages that are becoming extinct, like Nawanis, like tribal languages. There are very few speakers remaining. All those things are documentation. Language evolution, language and biology. A lot of things are new areas are coming up. Biolinguistics and all those things. Genetic linguistics, we call it. Where the genes communicate, the neurons communicate, how do the neurons communicate with each other, all those things are part of the communication. And the statistical linguistics. We do statistical machine translation, statistical machine learning, etc. All those things are part of that. Now, under computational linguistics, this is the first lecture of this thing. I will take you through the most basic structure. When you do language engineering or computational linguistics, you will develop fonts. I'm currently developing font for Sharada script. Sharada is one of the lost scripts in India. In fact, we revive it. Yes, so a lot of Arabs in Sharada, in the Kashmir area. And to that, we have to teach Sharada people on writing font for Sharada. Then we write addition to create font converters because there will be some they were arguing to Sharada and what Sharada will be arguing. Like you have written a text, there is a Sharada manuscript. You have written that in Sharada script. Now people don't know Sharada, so convert that to the Devanagari. Right? Let's do the reading. And it just text, write text, spell check, and all of that. They're very small things, that but very essential for every language to have. Then we have automatic speech recognition. You speak and then people the machine writes. You don't have to type. Automatic speech recognition. Then we have text to speech. The written text machine will read. The reversal. ASR is also called speech to text. And TTS is text to speech. So there's a text, machine is reading out. That's called TTS. But as I'm speaking, machine is writing. That's what ASR. Writing the spoken text and reading the written text. Different things. Right? Then OCR, optical character recognition, where there is an image of a text, example manuscript or a printed text, and I want to convert it to written typed text. And publishers, they have lost the file, they only have the printed text. And now they have to get it typed all the way. So they don't want to get it typed, so they can write OCR, convert that to typed text. Right? Manuscripts are there. You want to get the manuscript typed. What do you get it typed? You have to scan it and get it converted to text. Otherwise, you have to have human beings to type it. There's a lot of data, you can't acquire human beings. Right? So there's a problem. Like manuscript machine is here. Then you have online handwriting recognition. Online handwriting recognition. My friend, A.J. Ramakrishnan, he just retired, he attended. It was an IC lecturer. He was working on online. Yeah. So what happens? So you write on tablet in hand, and machine types it for you. You write on tablet in hand, write on mobile in hand, the machine is going to do that. I did a project of this area for Microsoft. There was a consultant. 6 or 7. Machine translation, all of you know that it's matured now. It has become much more useful. Machine translation. And text summarization and simplification. You summarize the text and you simplify the text. It's basically the education also in many areas. There's a huge document, you want some of it, but let's summarize it. There's a complicated document I don't understand, machine is going to simplify. There are a lot of these studies, especially in text simplification, IT, Kharagpur, I believe, where they are doing it profoundly. So if there's a complex text, the machine has known that you're spending more time on that slide or on that lesson. Because and they also track your eye movement. When you are reading a complex text, the eyes will blink differently. When you're reading a simple text, eyes have normal. So machines can get from the eye movement that you are interacting with a difficult text. And they can simplify. Right? So all of those studies are being done progressively. So AI is going to go into different kinds of new areas. Very interesting new areas. And then we have one of my students are going to PhD of text summarization for Sanskrit. So she did abstractive text summarization. More complex than the token-wise summarizations. And cross-lingual information access. Cross-lingual information access. What does that mean? If I am asking a query from the Google in my language, say Maithili for example, my mother tongue, and there is no document available in Maithili, so I should not be left without any information. I should get still the information. Also, how can I get? So my Maithili query will be translated into Hindi or English, whatever the data is there, and text will be fetched in that language, Hindi or English or whatever, and then translated to my language. Even if there is no Maithili data available online, I get information in it using machine translation. Cross-lingual intelligence. Very important for Indian language because not all languages they will have the same amount of information on the website. Right? But even if a language doesn't have information, you can still get information by translating. So machine translation is going to transform the way India has been behaving and believing and things. And I'll tell you about those initiatives that recently has happened. And I have left about 7 parts, which means there are innumerable possibilities. If you can imagine. So there could be a lot of things like detecting. I saw there is an interesting project. So whether some human being is normal or aphasic, can machine detect a normal human being from a not normal human from his behavior? Whichever apastic child, they slightly behave differently. An expert human being can detect this person is not normal, affected child from a normal child. So can machine detect that and deal with them differently? A differently able person has to handle differently than the other person. So all those interesting things can come up. When you talk about multimodal recognition, it's a world of possibility. that can machines can do, right? So why is linguistics important? All obvious, because it is a foundational discipline. Wherever language applies, it applies everywhere. Linguistics will apply. Therefore, linguistics essentially is a multidisciplinary foundational discipline. It applies to all languages. In Indian direction, I have spoken on that already. India traditional strength. Why India's strength? Because in India, we constructed all text orally. We did not write text. When you can construct text orally, when you write text orally, you have this worry that the text will get lost. It will not transmit it accurately to the next generation. When you write, you forget, okay, I written, so it will stay. But when you are speaking a text only, the text are spoken text, then you only have a worry that it may get lost in the successive generations. They lose in accuracy. So they devise so many linguistic disciplines to make sure the texts are passed accurately to successive generations. Therefore, the 6 Vedangas that we have devised, 4 were linguistics disciplines. 6 Vedangas were that to be knowledgeable, you have to know these disciplines. 6 disciplines. And these are etymology. Etymology is you have to know the meaning of a word. You have to understand what exactly this word means, where it comes from. The grammar, then phonetics, then chunk meter. Because texts are constructed as a song. All the texts in India are songs. Maths is a song, Pali is a song, biology is a song, Ayurveda is a song. Next, the writers have to know song. And therefore you have to know meter to understand this text. So 4 out of 6 Vedangas were linguistic sense. India's strength because we started writing much later. This is all spoken text. Now, multilingual India is careful linguistic study plans. India is multilingual, huge country, lot of population, everybody is speaking their language, they're mixing. So we make sure AI applies productively, usefully. So we have to make sure that we plan it nice. Don't just take whatever comes ChatGPT, just apply it and see what happens. It will be a chaotic situation. You have to make sure AI is planned carefully there. And linguistics has been the most important discipline in India's study. Let us say 4 or 6 linguistics sciences. And development of Indian AI depends on linguistic data and rich systems. Because we have to train AI, our language model, from our data. Our data is our languages. Our languages are mixed. Our languages are unique in many aspects. So we have to understand linguistics of India very carefully. Unless we do that, there will be no good system coming out of it. And today, we are in the age of data and language informatics driven AI. So language informatics and data, that drives AI. Right? And AI cannot be done without these things. And language is very complex, so language informatics. If you do a large language model, what happens? You train a large data sets. Then you plug in an interface, you plug in different language tools, language informatics tools, with that LLM, so that it understands your query and responds. And LLM has to be plugged in with ASR and GTS. LLM has to be plugged in with machine translation. You cannot do all the queries just like that. There has to be a lot of language tools plugged in with LLM to respond, right? So therefore, when to talk about LLM, LLM is a functional AI system. It knows everything, does everything. To do an LLM in the language, you have to have all these tools. Language informatics and data already prepared. Unless you do that, we just can't. I was just informed by private information. Someone told me that the Ola is coming out a huge LLM proposal for Indian language. Someone told me that. I don't know how true is that. But they told me that 5 5 trillion parameters. Based on that. I don't know how they get there, but they should think over it much more deeply, because if you do such massive exercise, the end product should be truly, doing our things our way. If I ask a question to ChatGPT on India's political affairs, it comes up as an answer which suits the British or the Americans, not India. So it has responded unfavorably to us. That's not helping us, right? So we must build a system which actually helps us. That's been a lot of planning, right? Planning is a serious exercise. Because both data and technology are changing very, very fast. Faster than ever. I could give you example, 1997, AI was prologue with Lisp. Today AI is Python and machine learning. And data was hardly any data on Indian language and internet in the 90s. Now there's tons of data in the language. Hardware, fascinating improvements in hardware. From CPU to GPU and kernel, which contain the kernel and the hardware appear tomorrow. Costs have gone dramatically down. The storage capacity has gone up tremendous. So a lot of changes happening in the field of AI. And my friend, David Gibbon from Germany, he always says AI question mark, question mark, question mark. Which way the AI will go tomorrow in a country like India, we don't know. But it will be there in some avatar. Certainly. There is a big data. And one more aspect. One more aspect. We can talk about that. Now, big data. And in India, we talk about big linguistic data. Because whatever comes up on the internet is not linguistic data. Almost all of it is linguistic data. Even if not linguistic data, for example, picture data, graphs, sketches, they have to be linguistically interpreted. So I call it everything big linguistic data, B and D. So these are the well-known issues. How to capture data. Everywhere you have to apply technology. Capturing is a very important aspect. In India, see, we have 140 crore people. Almost 60-70% will have mobile phones. They all talk to each other so much. But none of the data gets converted to electronic form. It disappears. Boom, data has gone. I remember one company from Israel had come to me. A company called Human Voices. They had a plan to connect Hindi language data using my students. And a student would go interview a person and data will be recorded and data will be sent for processing. So collecting human data carefully in a structured fashion is the most important thing to do right now. The data is what is going to matter. Because synthetically generate data, but that will not be good eventually. For training a toy system, synthetic data can be used. But training real systems, you need real data, human data. So capturing, I'll tell you some examples of how to capture automatically and seamlessly. For example, see my crawler, you know what a crawler is? It crawls very fast. I'll show you how a crawler works. If the crawler is bootstrapped with the speech system, ASR, I speak to the crawler, crawl data from these sites, and store in database. So crawler collects data as per the instruction, and then stores data in the database in the structured fashion, as it is. So that querying is possible. And if there are images, it stores images separately, video separately, data separately, and in the right 3D fashion way. So if we have such crawlers, we can collect a lot of data. Now people speak on mobile phones. The speech can be converted to text and stored. Right? With their permission, of course. All that. The permission is very important. Otherwise, you just must have heard that the OpenAI has been sued by New York Times. You know that OpenAI has been sued by New York Times. But OpenAI used New York Times articles in training ChatGPT. Right? Those articles are on the web, so they're supposed to be free. All newspapers are supposed to be free. Now you have used free newspaper data to train your ChatGPT. Now that ChatGPT is generating your guides. It is affecting their business. So they have gone to the court. They are demanding huge amounts of money from the OpenAI is going to be finished. Maximum investment will $10 billion. Right? So there will not be trouble for them. Copyright issues are there. We have a high student train a system in recognizing polite Hindi versus impolite. They had the same problem 5 years or 10 years ago. He was doing PhD. He said, where to get the data from? I said, data from social media. So he draw data from social media in this sentence. Now we have to mark each sentence as polite, impolite, rude, etc. Why human beings? The question was, once we collect data from social media data is supposed to be free. We anonymize the data and collect. Tomorrow, if the system is trained and that system is commercialized, and that person comes to know that my data will be used to demand a share of the cake, right? Because this is data anyway. But then the thing is, we took that data and we annotated, we added another layer of annotation to the data. So it became my data. See what? So I take a sentence, तुम्हारे बाप का नाम क्या है? And I say this is impolite. The sentence being impolite thing now is tagged, so it's a new sentence. So copyright laws no more there. It's my sentence. I've recreated as per Indian copyright law. So when you create data resources, you have to be very careful about all the aspects. So tomorrow, your LLM will be commercialized, will be used commercially. So then the profit has to be shared. I did a lot of projects on creating animations of Panchatantra, Hidopalesha, and all these Sanskrit things. And Doordarshan asked me to permission to use those videos in their free. Doordarshan is free. I said, go ahead and use it, so I get the videos. Now, there was in one of our faculty meetings in the department, they said, as long as they are not making money out of the videos that they're showing. For example, they showed my videos, animations of Panchatantra. And during that time, they had an advertisement, which earns them money, then they have to share money. You see, so there are a lot of aspects of data creation, using someone's data, and that, all of this. So when you use data, it must get proper permission from the people. So capturing data, storage, of course, has different capacities, hardware, software, pumping data into getting data back from when you store data, nice is you get it back with you. You store data in a careless manner, you can't get it back with you. You have to store data nicely. And nice data analysis depends on how smart you have storage and store data and you visualize data. Visualization is important because there do a lot of predictions from nicely data and then finally decision making after training. So all of that is going to be very, very critical quickly using data. The situation of big data, using data is huge variable gets created on the fly and changing with great speed. As I'm speaking now, if someone was able to capture this data and translate it into many languages, it will simultaneously create 1 into 23 kinds of data in Indian language. Possible because machine translation system. ASR and machine translation. ASR will capture my English and translate it to 22 languages. There will be 23 pairs of sentences for each sentence. Massive. And to deal with complex analysis as a typical of big data, we need smart algorithms. We must need smart algorithms. We can't go to everything manually. Because these are so huge. Even with 140 crores people, we can't go to create all the data. So we have to have smart algorithms, tools, etc. Database techniques are constantly evolving. We keep facing dynamic data explosion that is happening. Data explodes situation. So database techniques are evolving faster. We're trying to keep pace with data explosion, data mixing, etc. For example, currently I'm showing in the chemistry with the Let's Go graph. I converted all the dictionaries myself with searchable. We are currently going live very soon. So the two options, either you go on the gamers or you have text files, XML, etc. So there are different ways you can store data. When you plan a certain data storage technique, data structuring technique, you have to think ahead. What ways can be used? Like data is stored or structured nicely, you have more usage. Data is stored in a careless manner, it will have less usage. If I create data and put it on GitHub, data is in a language neutral, platform neutral standard, it will be used by more people. If data is platform specific, it will not be used by many people. Therefore, cross-lingual data specifications are there. All of them device standards how to encode data. Unico, for example, it's a standard. If you put data in Unico format, you can use it, right? So all of that, how you store data, how you capture data, all of that is really important. And data earlier from mostly English-like data now to non-English-like data coming up. Huge quantities, and also from monolingual to multilingual and mixed data. From normal to crazy data in the emerging is very, very interesting. The kids, smaller kids, if they are growing up in a multilingual mixed culture, they come up with very interesting constructions sometimes. They mix easily Hindi with English. Watching. उससे वाला sound crazy किया है, crazy किया is the word, crazy in English. So a lot of these things are happening at a very faster pace, and the AI system has to be patiently listening to the pattern that emerging from the language usage, and then constantly train itself from the emerging data situation that is there. So the examples of the extent currently, if I look at what are the data available with us, there's a lot of data in judicial documents. We have one Supreme Court, 25 High Courts, and 672 district courts in India. I've done some analysis. I hope I'll have that slide. I think I will have that slide. And all of them deal with a lot of text. Thousands of cases are filed every day. Not every all the cases are heard. A lot of data is there. Administration. We are multilingual country, multi-state country, 28 states, so many other administered areas in there, and all of them have administration papers. And then we have had administration from our earlier empire builders. We had the Arabs, then we had the Mughals, then we had the British. Right now we have the independent India. During all these times, the way to administer was different, language was different, vocabulary was different. So all these documents will be there for you to train the AI system. To buy a property has a history. It may have in some other state, or in a different state. It may have in some other language, or in a different language. Most of the FIRs, which are listed not in here, a lot of Urdu words. I went to a seminar in Agra. And one of the media person asked me that this FIR language, I don't understand. No, we use a lot of Persian words which are no longer understood by the people. So what to do? He said, we have to use something which is people can understand. FIR for the people. We have to use the vocabulary which is currently known. Language changes faster, right? So you have to adapt to the newer vocabulary which is emerging. We can't stay with the older vocabulary. No longer understood. Newspapers and print media, a huge amount of actually happening in newspapers. Almost every language has a newspaper, and media, films, and television, literatures. The Scientific Academy has more languages than 22. 22 official languages, Scientific Academy has more languages. You ask study Indian language, it's Scientific Academy, but it's not an official language. Oral literature, there are many tribal communities, they don't write. They only construct literature. Oral. The songs are oral, the stories are oral, novels are oral, performances are oral. So all those documents. And film and television, Facebook, social media, and then we have our maximum number of manuscripts, Sanskrit polygraphy. Huge amount. Someone told me that about there is millions of manuscripts still waiting to be digitized. So AI has to digitize that manuscript also, right? There's also the problem. There might be a manuscript which is the new idea, and we haven't been able to write it, to read it. So we need to also look at that. And the historical trace of other languages, Arabic text, Persian text, English documents, right? And then the historical documents, language and history. So ancient Malayalam, medieval Malayalam, modern Malayalam would be different. Ancient Tamil, modern Tamil, and medieval Tamil. So every language has history, every state has history. And centrally, when the Arabs were there, they have some documents, the document have been there, the Persian documents have been there, Mughal documents have been there, right? So all of that has to be there. Carefully. And all this makes, the currently, what is being linguistic in India? Someone has to take a piece of the data, this is what you will get. But this changes fast. This will take. Why is big data different in India? One of the reasons is the linguistic and cultural diversity in India, as I said. But there are other reasons also. Getting data. The government funded projects, we depend on government funded projects, and there are problems. Nepotism, corruption, all of that. We are part of the government now, but I'm speaking is unofficially. The governments are defeated. Private bodies are superior. Unless the private enterprise, I'm currently Google's consultant for a niche thing that I'm doing. Google said they will invest $10 billion in India for a lot of things. And I got 2 pilot projects from them. They're really good. But they want a certain culture, certain competitiveness. The government works, they have a certain culture, the government also. And they're not very competitive. So we have to understand. Right? When funding is there, funding may not be guaranteed. Funding is to stop. The rest will be declared. Achar Samhita will be lagu. All those things. Anyway, so there are other reasons also for big linguistic data creation and the projects and matters, etc. Now, complexity linguistic data. There's complex. Look at these social media data, Twitter data. We use very small words. We use emojis. And essentially, I was talking to one of my teenage relatives, my niece, and talking to her for 5 minutes, I got a new English language that is emerging in the school campuses. That English language is very interesting. I thought I would speak to her more often. And very interesting. I wish that kind of language was becoming for Hindi also, other Hindi language also. Mostly the school, teenage kids when they speak that language on school campuses. So that has to be captured also. This is new language emerging. Like every language emerges, we are the most happy person. So language is what is interesting for us. So we need to match technology to capture that evolution faster. Otherwise, language will be more, the technology will not be more. They have to keep pace with evolution language. Otherwise, it will be going in different directions. And what kind of robustness we need? New requirements on pre-processing, normalization, multilinguality, multi-script capacity, mixed language. So when we collect data, how do we pre-process? Suppose we collect data from Twitter in Hindi, but that is the Roman. First, you have to convert Roman to Devanagari into Roman. There are shortened words. You have to expand those shortened words. That emojis, you have to convert emojis to text, normal language. And then pre-processing, multilinguality. Suppose someone is using mixed language. I was collecting data for some thali, I was consulting Swift keyboard. I wrote a lot of printed keyboards for many languages. So I was doing for Santhali. So Santhali, they were loaded in old Chikki, which is the script. So Devanagari I collected. So the Devanagari Santhali was mixed with Bhojpuri, mixed with Hindi, because that region there. So automatically, sifting Santhali from Bhojpuri is very different. I don't know Santhali. I can barely understand Bhojpuri, but how can you create machine to detect this language? Person mixing. 2 lines Santhali, 1 line Bhojpuri, and stuff like that. So very difficult exercise. Even in India, I don't know. So this is the normal communication. Somebody speaks Santhali, somebody switching to Bhojpuri. If you are mixing, it becomes much more complicated. There are sociological, psychological reasons for mixing and switching. We were examining a film script for our Bapura from 90s Bollywood. And so there was this Govinda talking to his friend in Hindi. And suddenly he switches to English. And nobody knows what happened. But suddenly his girlfriend is approaching. His girlfriend is approaching, so he's to show off, he switches Hindi to English. So there are motivations for switching language. There are motivations for mixing languages also. Right? These are the complexities in India. And we have to be very careful. So all these complexities will be there and will put additional pressures on the processing, text normalization, siphoning of the text, accepting Hindi from English from Hindi, from Thai from Bhojpuri, Bhojpuri from Hindi, this and that. For Google, I'm doing this Eastern Hindi, Bhojpuri kind of Hindi, Maithili kind of Hindi, Haryani Hindi. How can Google Assistant capture that kind of thing? So when someone speaks in Bhojpuri style Hindi, so should machines still be able to translate that? Consider the Hindi. And Hindi has 55 varieties. And each 55 variety may have many varieties, some varieties. Like Garhwali Hindi dialect, Garhwali has 12 varieties itself. So can you imagine the kind of complexity that we are looking into in the multilingual country? Hindi is nobody's mother tongue. Mother tongues are Maithili, mother tongues are Bhojpuri, Awadhi, etc. But Hindi is the standard language that is used to communicate across the region. So all these things. So, as an example, conventional database language SQL. Now, anybody knows SQL here? Then database structured query language. Right? We have to, there is a language, select, delete, update, etc. If you go to that normal English language. I did the research for my master's thesis in UIUC, where I gave commands in English language and the machine passed out SQL. And bootstrap crawlers in voice commands to operate target language data as student data on this class. So a lot of people in India, we can get a lot of data made. But we have to automate the process. We can't depend on and there has to be certain auto permission. If you're getting a phone, you give permission to store your data. If you start asking permission, everybody will be called. Some kind of data collection that has to be there. Raw data is well on. So where are we usually speaking and how complex the situation is? Let's look at this. English is on internet 53%. Because all necessary basic tools exist for it. Hindi, the biggest language in India, only 0.1%. This is in terms of the written data on internet. Websites. You look at the websites on the internet, Hindi, the biggest language in India, only 0.1%. English, Chinese, Arabic, Spanish, etc. are even Thai language is more than Hindi. Why? People don't want to write. But the basic tools are not. There are speech to Hindi tools to be there. Actually, a machine writes. These are not popular anymore. In English, all the tools are there. You speak, the machine will write. But on YouTube, Hindi is the fourth language. If you combine Hindi and Urdu, which is the same language, third biggest language is YouTube. Because their only videos are necessary. We create videos. And there are many people in India to create videos. So our producer YouTube is great in India. But our producer of the written text is not there. They don't want to write. But they are not chosen to write. So websites wise we are very poor. But speech wise, YouTube data is much more. So our AI has to be aware of this fact. Data is going to grow more on YouTube, multimodal data will grow less textual data. So we have to move away from textual to visual data and the multimodal data. Right? But 9 out of 10 internet users from the day use internet. How people using? I went to my village and drove about 1400 kilometers from Delhi to go to my village, border of Nepal. And I found people they are using YouTube. Even if they are not internet, they can use YouTube, voice. And they can search songs and play the songs. So searching through voice is more powerful. And creating videos and reels are more powerful than writing. And this is going to grow. This is going to grow more. We are far more diverse and therefore our technologies are far more complex than the European countries. In Europe, for example, there are 25 countries, perhaps 22 languages, 25 languages. Each country speaks one language, but we speak many languages. So our needs are very different than Europe. So our models will be different than Europe. We have to look in our situation. We don't have to copy ChatGPT. That will not work, right? That's the important thing. Now look at this. 22 official languages and 38 plus English. 13 more applications are there. So different languages. Home Ministry has 13 applications for recognizing their languages. I don't know how many of them will get into. But at least language when it gets to constitution, it brings lots of problems. And the multilingual media, movies, TV, language policy, education policy, government health, multilingual, all of this, is important in there. English is very complex phenomena. I already mentioned one basic here. And the English have to cater to this phenomenon. These three, the vision Alexa, looks for the ordinary Hindi. Mixed Hindi. Google Assistant, mixed Hindi. You speak in English, Hindi mixed, you won't recognize. But you speak in Awadhi, it will not recognize. You speak in Bhojpuri, not recognize. That's why you recognize. So Google Assistant has to capture now all the 55 right. Non-standard multimodal, non-standard speed data. I already spoke about that. No, so I'll skip this. Now, to create robust ML applications, we need critical language technology data for text, speech, and gestures. How do we create that? And we have to basically create in key areas first: e-governance, judicial, education, health, knowledge, transfer, education. So many areas where we can apply language technology there, but I would say these are our priority areas. Governance in India is every people. So we have to have governance in Indian languages. Judiciary in Indian languages, education in Indian languages, health in Indian languages. If buy medicine, we don't know what is written there. Because 90% of India does not speak English, use English. This is medicines are in English. Right? Knowledge transfer, translation, etc., and heritage, of course, all of that. But we're focusing on these three, the identity areas. Education, education up to primary level must be in Indian language. That is the new education policy. National education policy. But our languages lack this scientific and technical vocabulary. There are 270 mother tongues, and education policy says that mother tongue education should be there. And all the mother tongues do not have the scientific and technical vocabulary to write textbooks in their language. So what we do? So we have to develop terminology and content creation. Therefore, this commission that I am getting is doing this, and kind of skip a lot of details. This cybersecurity 61, I'm the 24th chairman. These are the languages that we have built, and technical vocabulary in Indian languages. This is our. We have published 350 books. Each book has a dictionary in Indian language. Together we have done 3 million words so far. 3 million words in all the languages. And I have digitized and so our initiatives, our data server does digital creation, digital search, exporting code, etc., all of those. And currently we're focusing on this Shab Shah project where we involve you in the dictionary creation process. Then we have our search engine where we can search dictionary. So I can, if I search this, just debugging the dictionary, right? It will be secure with things. So, let's see. I can see the screen. This screen is not visible there. This should be PPT. screen has frozen. Right, it's right. Still on. So I'm still on this part. Let me share my screen. Share my screen.
സൈറ്റിലത്തെ പ്ലേ ഇതിനകത്ത് കാണാൻ പറ്റും നമുക്ക് വേറെ വേറെ
I've seen this screen.
അതിൽ കാണിച്ചാൽ പറ്റും
Somehow my browser is not able to show. So then I'll start this and share this. Then here, okay, so I'll share this screen and do the presentation. Then we'll share this. Not just share the window. So this is our search program. If I type here, it's going to I mean this is myself. This is going to go live on shop.education.in. Shop.education.in. It's going to go live very soon. I'm currently doing the security auditing of this. So when I search a word in Indian language, administration, you get words from the language. You see the word in Malayalam. I've converted, I've detected non-Devanagari, converted to Devanagari. So Haranam Nirvana Prashasana. This is Malayalam. Much more sensitive, much more mature. In Hindi, say Prashasan. Prashasan is more official, but Haranam portion is more, like fatherly, motherly, etc. Much more mature. So I convert these words, and now say Telugu is Palan, Paripalan, Vyavaharan, Intizamiya, Urdu. I can then get the entire context of the word. So I can get the full context of the word, administration in Malayalam, and it says, administration justice, administration of etc. All these types. And if you think word learning, then give feedback. So all that is going to be live very soon, and I'm doing this edition. Security editing right now. I'm the only programmer, so bringing myself. If I do subjects, then every subject, we have a dictionary many subjects. And all the subjects have dictionary. For example, if I do, let me see, we have engineering, Malayalam dictionary, engineering, or let me go to the home page where I can see the language by dictionary. Go from Malayalam, this. And what is the Malayalam we have to criticize? Already done. So if you can go there and see any dictionary of say any engineering dictionary. Kannada. This is Kannada in engineering dictionary. So we have a lot of all the words of engine or engineering can be put together and translators can translate. And see these are the only official words. If there is a translator, the translating official document they have to use this. This is the official document of the government of India. So they have to use it. So if I don't know what is the Telugu word here or Kannada word, I can click on this link here and click it. It will become Devanagi. I can at least see what exactly being said in Telugu. And it's possible. Then Kannada also, I think a lot of English words are being used. Hindi, a lot of English words are being used. And so this is the system that is going to go live very soon. Let me stop it. And I'll check that. Let's see. So this is our website, and what we have done in every committee that we create to create dictionaries, we are inviting research students to also join those committees and help us create dictionaries. So if you go to our website, this website is live, and there is a form register. If you can help us, if you so technical vocabulary textbook to education. This is what we have to do. The problem we have to do is 70% and 50%. So let's go to bit slower. So we need technology because without technology we cannot create textbooks for all 270 methods. We need Google technology, application technology, and language. Right? Both. And resource base for heritage also. And so to digitize manuscripts, we have to create resources for them. So I'll skip that, we don't have time. Go a little bit. Now, look at the example of legal domain. So, if you create corporate a legal domain, so the domain of manuscripts, domain of textbooks, domain of the judiciary. So, if you take the judiciary, we have to understand the different kinds of domains that we have. Legal sub-language, legal legislative variety, legalese, multiple practices, multiple mixing, all of that. And these are the domains of legal. So if you collect data, you have to look at the domains of the legal. International law, criminal law, cyber law, etc., etc. And judiciary in India, most Supreme Court, 25, High Court, 62, District Court, all of that we have to consider. And 3.5 crore plus cases pending. Pendency is very high. They haven't been heard. Many cases haven't been heard for decades. 30,000 cases are filed every day. And 28,000 are heard. And they are heard, they are not necessarily given judgments. They are heard. 2,000 are not heard every day. So they take some filing. Right? And 86% pending in district court because there are many languages in district courts. 13.8% in high courts and only 0.2% in Supreme Court. If you reduce languages, you have less pendency. Increase languages, more pendency. Also, more technology, less pendency. Less technology, more pendency. District courts are very poor in technology. So, filing of cases, right? Situation. So, from 2006 to 18, pendency rule by 8.6%, Supreme Court, etc., etc. I don't know these things. What is the problem? Problem is, diversity, infrastructure, more technology, dependency, vacation, vacant posts, insufficient positions, quality manpower, communication, manipulation, a lot of things are there. And ICT, they started with ICT in 2005, almost e-course, and they have done a lot of computerization. Data entry was also done. So there is a lot of improvement. The Supreme Court has released 50 years of data. You have looked at that data. Mostly data in the physical media. If I want to capture that data in the physical media, data is handwritten, data is ancient English, very old English. So all of that has to be kept in mind when you capture the data. Suppose the data in older English, how do you normalize it to recent English? All of that. So the requirements, data should be available, standards should be there, manpower should be there, tools should be there, funds should be there. Data is very important, it should be available. Not every language has data, for language technology, I'm looking at what I have 15 minutes only, so it's cardboard science. You know, there are different domains, subdomains, oral traditions, dominant versus other languages, community, how our the community is, what does repeat a lot of data, combination, all of that. Standards. Standards have to be there because we create data in a standard way, otherwise they can be useless. The standards in India haven't worked, only Pandit haven't worked. After that, government of India made a lot of effort in making standards for the Indian scripts. Did not work really very well. Then ST was the standard and the PS standards for Microsoft Research India were hired by Microsoft to create standards for Indian language. Shobha is coming after, she also was part of that group. And we created the first part of the stack standards for Indian languages, which was then used by the standards. This was the standard for Indian languages in general. And then this was extended to Hindi. You take this standard for common Indian languages, then you apply it to Hindi. You apply it to Hindi, you deprecate this branch. So when we do domain-specific processing, we look at, say, any particular domain. Because sentences mean differently different domain. A sentence will not be the same in all domains. So we have to do domain-specific data collection, right? And humans, when humans speak, they speak, in a certain domain. Then they indicate change of domain, and then it is impossible to have this short document with all possible domains and get some. With the larger data, we change domain. In short document, you can't have all domains. Not humanly possible. The speaking paragraph, we have only one domain. We can speak in long length, we can change it. Right? So all these things are very important in data collection. How to create new data, different methods for uniform, bimodal, multimodal, data, speed data. You have to clean data, you have to have domains. What are the domains? I showed you domains. It's not should be there. Anyway, this is a problem. I'm not messing with this. So, for example, we have law as a domain. There will be 10, 15 domains of law. There is an education, there will be 15 domains of education. And all these domains have been gone down. So, somehow my screen is not showing. When I change this. So, then we translate data. We create data by translation. All languages do not have data, so we create data from one language to another. There must be guidelines how to translate the document from one language to another. You just can't let people translate the way they want to. There will be chaotic situation. They will create nice guidelines. Annotate data, we create guidelines. Coarse grained annotation, fine grained annotation. Suppose we say we have noun, pronoun, adjective. Do we have to have what kind of noun it is? Proper noun, personal noun, what kind of adjective it is? What kind of verb it is? So fine grained data, more elaborate annotation or coarse annotation. Coarse versus fine grained. Coarse grained will have higher accuracy when you train the system, but less expressive. Fine grained will have less result in the training the system, but they will be more expressive. So you have to basically see what kind of annotation scheme you have to have. So, for example, power speed data, chunk data, sense data, name entity data, sentence data, disclose data, and they can examples of this. Somehow I'm going to show. I have a document where you can have examples of each kind of data. I'll give the document to you. I'll share the document to you. So one sentence in English can be noted at the clause level, chunk level, sense level, name entity level, discourse level. Example, the how this keyword actually will be. We say that we have to introduce section at the level. We go at more detailed level and complexity arises. More complex. And then if there is a difference in opinion, two people are tagging one word as adjective. Someone is saying it as noun. Then Sundar in Hindi can be made as an adjective. So what is whether it is a name or adjective in a particular context. So business can vary. Therefore, we have to resolve all these disputes in coming up with the exact notation. Then we have to have guideline document, how to rotate part of speech, how to do it gently. Unless you do guideline, people will go crazy. You come up with the data which is unusable. You spend a lot of money, a lot of effort in taking data, then it not be usable. It should not be, user data. There are some examples where, how to create gold data set, for example, we data set created as per policy stack set from Microsoft Research. And then the entity language policy data set, it here. And I said, as soon as it does data, Indian language is properly system. That project that we can build together at 17 universities. So we'll show that. So when we create resources, we need manpower, and manpower can be cloud sourced, can be physically present in your system, in the project, or you can use startup company, you can use administrations, data organization, you can have stationary companies. I remember having discussion at VTIO for a stationary company, how can we deliver that issue and how can we solve the problem. Tools we need. How many kinds of tools needed? Data collection tool, data creation tool, bootstrapping, data analysis tool, copyright, all of these things, export, import, all of this will be needed. Funding is the most important because unless we get a lot of money, constantly flowing money, we cannot go and create good data set. And that is the biggest issue in a country like India, where funding is not always guaranteed. I remember I had gone to Barcelona for a conference. There I met one lady, and she said she wants to work with Indian languages. Chirag Foundation, next Chirag Foundation. So I said, when you come to India, I will tell you what to do. And so she came to India, and in Delhi I had a meeting with the leaders, etc. She had a nice plan to work with some endangered languages. And then she said she had no money. She had to add money. Chirag Foundation had no money. I told her to go to Bombay and look for some private funding. So in fact, we had to Bombay and got money from private to do this exercise. So you have to make sure there is private funding. From the language enthusiasts, language community, etc. funding. Government only will not come. So always for real funding issues, let's not go into those. That's data sharing. I create data, you create data, we exchange, you swap it. So I have both sets of data, right? If I want to create all data myself, that's not possible. You create some data, I create, then you stop it. So that kind of thing. But people don't share data because of a lot of these issues. Data sharing can be manual, like GitHub does it, and then automatic. There are systems importing data from systems. For example, I'll say platform. I annotate data. Then you have a platform Typecraft from the Norwegian University. Can take data internally and add another layer of encryption, which can be imported back to our system. Or Imagine from Florence University can take data, add another tier of information. So these kind of systems have to be built. The systems can query data internally, add a tier and throw it back, something like that. Starting with data acquisition projects is certainly you have to do. We need a lot of tools to draw it. And I have this monster tool I have to actually very quickly here. I have to stop sharing. We'll have to continue connected to that online thing. Okay. So let me show you how I draw data. So I have this crawler here. See here I have already given language as Malayalam. Say Malayalam in this case, Malayalam language is Unicode, right? So I will now draw data. And then I said I have to draw data from some newspaper. So I have this Malayalam. I have given this mathribhumi.com as the paper I want to collect data from. Now I start the crawler and I'll run it. So I run dash 5 and give it a time. This is time 12. This is 52. It's going to draw data from mathribhumi and the current newspaper available. And then I will use another system to create dictionary order different lists. I can let me cut it short so that I can now go to the output folder Malayalam. So I can collect this data. Malayalam text that I got from the newspaper, right? Now I can go back and then copy this folder in my dictionary software. Let me delete this one and copy this folder. Okay, I have a lot of files. Now I can run my dictionary program and create a dictionary. So it's a Malayalam. Now it's going to look at all these files and create a dictionary very quickly. I got this dictionary made from the newspaper, from mathribhumi. If I leave it running for the entire night, I get hundreds of thousands of files. So, we'll have obviously there will be post positions etc. coming up with higher frequency. Lower frequency will be the actual words. And bottom will be the proper nouns. The names, the very creative names are there, so this slide will be repeated. I found that if I read a corpora of 100,000 words, the modern English language, and make a dictionary, so I get about 7,000 unique words, 100,000 corpora. Those languages which are more inflected, like Sanskrit, I get 3 times more. In Sanskrit, I get about 21,000 unique words in 100,000 word corpora because of the inflected, Rama, Rame, Rame, etc. or because you go. But in other languages, it's 7,000. So now this frequency, you can guess that which words are more popular, which words have to be handled in what way. More popular words, more frequent words have to be there more carefully. Let me go back to my slides again very quickly. Next slide. Just to read this. So coming towards the close. I will listen. Now, this project for Indian language corporate initiative, we created a lot of data for 70 Indian languages. And there was a parallel data collection, annotation, and chunking. And then exporting data in XML format to the database. So, I created a server for Sanskrit where all the languages had their dashboards. Like Malayalam had its dashboard, and the Telugu had its dashboard, and they would log in and create their advice. Linguistic, etc. So each data was created was vetted by several layers of people, and then allocated a tab, and then it was basically sent to the ministry in XML format. Right? So all this thing was done, and so I want to quickly show you the demo. I hope I can still click here and demo this too. I can. So let me quickly demo this one. I go to my server in JNU and I go to operation policy. So how do you create Bopper? My password will work. So to Malayalam. I log in to the system where I can. So I log into Malayalam system where Shirley and Daniel were working together on that. So if I want to create a data, so I create about philosophy or health, for example, or health. To create a new file and then create a new sentence and then start creating data. Start, suppose I click which this is domain of health. So I said blood, heart, and circulation. Both first. Start writing some data in this area. Okay? And then say, what is the source of the corpus? It's a book. So what is the book? Then I get what data from. I write this in the book. And that's it. So this sentence from the health data in this subdomain has been appropriately tagged already. So belonging to this subdomain, this area, and taken from this book, this author, etc. All everything. So each sentence is mapped a lot of metadata. When this sentence is created, it is saved, it goes for translation. Right? So let me log this out from here. And I can go to the other tool. Here I can do translation. So let me do Malayalam again. Page 2. This is live stream. So I can show you the data that the people who work here. But in agriculture set, in Hindi, so this Hindi sentence never translated into Malayalam by the group. I think remember, ICFOSS was our partner, and then you can. The translation was vetted by our experts, and then we got tagged. I'll show you how to tag the data. And then, so if I say chunking it, so I chunk the data again. Take the same sentence, other sentence. This is it. So if I chunk it, this is making difference. Basically, you identify from which part to which part it is natural word grouping. Say lovely John is one group. Buys 5 books. 5 books is one group. Right? So you have to identify these natural chunks and then identify from here. Then say this is how the data was translated, part of the tag and chunk. And then this chunk data will be exported to XML. When I log in as a super admin, and I can, so if I log in as super admin, I can export data. That means I can see the progress of the suppose I can take Malayalam, say current users. I can see the details. The XML converter will export data XML format of Malayalam data, and then it will be sent to the university to produce it. And I can other do not just about find, I can find words. See interesting things. Look at this biggest word. They must be from the medical domain. What is the word there? Malayalam? Just 48 utterances. Must be some name of medicine, right? What is the word? strongest word. This word.
Independent national historical physical. Independent national historical. It's a name.
It's a name. See, names of medicines organizations are normally very big, right? So these will be the biggest. And other words are no. This word is big and it's actually appeared 48 times in the entire Malayalam program, right? And so all this very interesting. I am sitting on the best Indian language data. Let me be. And these were created by all the experts in each language in the university. And now this data has to be leveraged, and we'll certainly do a lot of things. Data is there. And so I can do graph, what is the progress of each graph, each person. So I can monitor which group is doing what kind of project, what kind of progress, and all of this is there. So I go to mark it out here quickly. Go back to the slides, more time. And so with this, I'll end my talk. Bingo 1 o'clock, right? So I was in a hurry. Thank you so much. I could not expect you on board hour. But then, I understand that you get bored. And this is an uninteresting area. I have a lot of tools to show actually how things work and how I have to do things, etc. But I find that not very interesting. So I'll kind of end my talk here and if there's a question I can take. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, sir. And for interaction, you have any doubts or anything? Then sir is ready to answer your queries.
Yes.
By now, about 2 million words, 2 million new words, 3 million new words,
Actually, they are not new words. 3 million head word count. For example, I have an administration dictionary of 5,000 English words, which is translated into 22 languages. It will count it 22 times. But each language will have new words. For example, we say prashasana in Hindi, we say bharanam in Malayalam. Each language creates new words. Head word count is 3 million.
medical domain, legal domain, in every domain. Yeah.
Legal domain, we have that one dictionary, and we are doing another dictionary. All brothers here.
And same things, and basically in English. I want to know your personal opinion. Yeah. And medical, everything is now saying that it should be in mother tongue to teach and study. Actually, is that needed that some words in our computer science or in medical field, it is very much familiarized. So, is it necessary every term we have to?
It's a very good question. I always get asked this question: why do we have to have terms for every discipline? Some terms become very popular, right? The question is, you're looking at yourself. You are among the 10% people who know English, and 90% in India does not know English. We need words for them. Now, for example, a person in a remote area of Kerala studies computer science. Option is either mother tongue, Malayalam, or English. They will perhaps understand Malayalam much better. It's important to get the concepts well. If they understand the concept very well in Malayalam, and additionally they can know English. English, I'm not saying they know English. English is a very important language, very powerful language. You must have English at every level. You must study English, but not necessarily study your subject in English. You must understand the subject in your language. You understand the concept better, and then express it in English language whenever you need it. That is the model we are working on. Otherwise, if you don't understand the subject well, how can you express it in any language? I've seen many people, they just mug up the things, mug up definitions. There was a movie Big idiot. This guy explains. Data, entire thing about battery. You have to understand the concept. If you understand, you can do much better. And Western countries have done that well. They have understood the subjects in their languages. And they can write people in English language, not a problem. You express your results in English language. So that is the English language. But unless you understand well the new language, how can you express? That is the problem. 90% of India does not understand any English, 10% partial people get it. They are not deep in English. Compared to European countries, French doing French, very deep concepts. America doing English, very deep concepts. We are confused. In English also or mother tongue also. So mother tongue will be better for deeper concepts than you express in English. For that matter, recently there has been an order by the Ministry of Education that in 3 years' time, all the educational content up to the bachelor's level must be included into language. It is top priority. This. Imagine the kind of work that we have to do in 3 years' time. So entire curricula in this area must be Malayalam up to bachelor's. Those who do English, they can do English, they do anywhere there. But for them, for those who don't have, then we have grammar. I always say that our people are very, very soft, they don't demand. Why do we have to put English on them? They can very well, say no big education in my language. I have difficulty. Very bright students, they come to engineering college and they suffer. So they just teach in English. Big problem. A lot of movies have to show this. It's a reality. So we have to address this. So the majority of India, English does not exist. Right? And we have to make sure that English exists for them as a subject. Important, but they must understand in their language.
Shall I have more comments about this one? Regarding the same concept, in Kerala actually there is a tradition. The people must go to English medium schools. Nowadays it's a tradition. But the thing is, what exactly happened for the students in English medium? That after their 12th standard, they moved to the colleges, they don't know Malayalam and they don't know English. The real situation, actually, as a college teacher, I have faced these issues.
In the countries which have done science in their language, they have done much better.
Yeah.
So why can't we do it? What stops us from it? It's only a fashionable thing to do English. Usefulness should be there. English should be medium of expression, fine. You know it, you express it. But understanding is important. Understanding also.
The mother tongue is the best language for the understanding the concepts. Normally, any Malayali or any Indian person, first of all, they think in their mother tongue and express in English.
I don't think English is a problem.
Yeah.
It brings a lot of creativity, a lot of advantage to us. This is good. But we have to do well in science. We have to bring Nobel prizes. Deeper content. It's not happening with the English that we do, 10% of India. 90% talent has been captured. Those might be more talented. Those would have contributed more, but we haven't accepted that. That's a crime. We are not giving the education to them. But they are very polite people, they don't object to anything. They should have said, no, my education, my language, I demand it.
What about the Indian literature?
Indian.
We have seen many instances in fiction, especially recently my research areas in translation studies, but I have seen from Malayalam to English translation. There are 7 words which is in Malayalam and not in English, and the author, the translator, is actually creating a new word. Maybe with the root word is the like elephant, the new word. We saw phantom, so there's no such a word. So how these words actually contribute, machine translation,
This creativity will be there. People will be flexible enough to create words, their language, and there will be influence of the other language that they know. Everyone knows more than two languages, so there will be influence. English is a fashionable influence, so government will connect with the larger community, which is fine. But the kind of English that our kids should know to communicate with the rest of the world for career, politics, that should be what we call international English. So we should have department of international English, and that should be teaching all the kids from school onwards international English. So that when kids grow up, they don't have this problem of communicating with the rest of the world, which is a good thing to do. But physics, chemistry, biology, etc. must be considered in there, so that they know the concept well and they can express in international English. It's very useful. Most of the countries have it. You know, America, DEIL. Environmental languages are international. They have done it long ago. We haven't. Like even Hindi is an international language. So this should be developing India as an international language. We should promote it. We should be doing it. All the languages are doing it, except us. So we should be looking at what comes ahead, future for us, our kids. So English is a good language. You must learn it as a subject. But medium is our language because we understand better. And goal is to understand better, right? And you understand how can you use it for. Conceptually, it should be sound.
Sir, the accuracy of our endangered languages or the low resource languages has always been an important concern. So, for a language like my first language is Sindhi. So, we don't have any standard data to look to when we face problems such as I was recently trying to do transcription in the language. So, there was no much standard vocabulary to look to. So, how important is this accuracy and what should be the aim? As in, script revival should be the first aim, or as I said, the demand of script, the writing is very less in this generation. So, as we already have the speech data available, what should be the aim as to how to revive such a language?
Well, Hindi is not a good example. Hindi is already
Sindhi.
covered, but there are other languages like
Sindhi, sir, Sindhi.
Sindhi. Now, Sindhi is there. Sindhi has two scripts for sure. We can Devanagari. And the people in India write Devanagari, people in Pakistan write for sure. And at CSTD, we have both the scripts, Devanagari and for sure. And India, people have diverse, more away from for sure words, third generation. I'm talking about. So when we create English, then we look at that. But looking at other languages like tribal languages, for example, Gondis, Khasi, Nagamis, which are even very little bit. Now we are not exchanging of Sindhi in our institute. But for example, Gondi, how to train systems in such languages? There is a method called zero start method. Someone will talk about zero start method. How do you do? So what we do, we take a trained system, apply to a completely new language pair, right? So example, we have English, Hindi, Russian, English. And Gondi, I believe, is a Chhattisgarh, so would be perhaps similar to Chhattisgarh. So I take English, Hindi, and try to English Gondi. And see how much machine performs. So you lose 10%, 15%. So 10% erasing, then we get it corrected by human being, and then put it back, then again, and then 20%. So like that we do for less useful languages. And that's a big challenge for less useful languages. Recently, Microsoft funded a project to IC Bangalore, who I forgot the person's name, and they wanted to create speech systems in less useful languages. And they were doing like, Mamidi, Bhojpuri, a lot of other data, and Gondi, when there's no data. So, how to create data? There's no textbooks, there's no newspaper, how to create data. Only human beings are there. So I told them, you basically first create a dictionary of keywords in these languages. And then you ask each speaker to write a sentence for each word. So you have a dictionary of 100,000 words. You have 100,000 sentences. And if there is speaker 10,000, 10,000 words.
A sentence is like that. So this is how you create it. Otherwise, there's no text, there's no newspaper, there's no book. So these are the problems. So basically, you create data and then train system, or you have a train system applies zero shot. A lot of these things are being done. I'm sure Microsoft, Monoji Chaudhary and Kalika Bali did for Goldie, zero shot methods, and they have a Goldie. Some interesting results are come. You train, you try, you bootstrap, you try, bootstrap. Otherwise, you just can't go to delete data first for all languages, then crisis. That's not good. Yes, languages are important. All languages are important, and the scheduled languages are more important, no matter how. And the scheduled languages are have the resources. They have the academy resources, etc. to work with. Other mother tongues, 270 mother tongues, they don't have all the resources, and the government has to fund a lot of other additional money and initiatives to help these. So this order that we have to create all the data into languages in 3 years will be interesting. See how they accomplish. How much the machine artificial will be. I did not show you the slide. Maybe I glossed over it. There are 3 initiatives in the country currently for machine learning. What is the mighty Hashiri? Hashiri is split with machine learning. There I also have the digital mighty machine learning. I got it there. Other one is the PSA, Principal Scientific Advisor. Prime Minister Modi's PSA has set up a basically Invest India initiative. Invest India, money has been given to Invest India startup, and that Invest India will invest in companies by passing the government system. So we are there set up a committee to seed machine translation companies or startup. We have identified 3 startup companies and a committee there to give them money to do machine translation language training, like English, Tamil, English, Kannada, English, Telugu, English, Tamil. 4 language based training. And the third one is Anubadi. Anubadi is done by AICTE. They are feeding our vocabulary for translating technical terms. So imagine a situation where we have, say, Google, English, Hindi, machine translation. We take that and copy that 22 times, right? Each copy we train for each technical terminology. Suppose I copy for 22 languages or 22 subjects. So English, Hindi in physics domain, train on physics vocabulary. English, Hindi on chemistry domain, train on chemistry vocabulary. So like that we have to do. We want to convert all the textbooks in different languages. Humanly not possible. Because each school-wise we have some standard in curriculum, but university no standards. Every university has its own curriculum. There's autonomy, right? So bachelor's degree in English language in London University will be different curriculum-wise than Delhi University. Books may be different. So translating all the books into Indian languages, at the university level will be much more difficult. It's easy. The CBSE is there, NCERT books are there. Most of them will follow the same pattern, so that will be easier. But university level will be a lot of challenges in India, but we have to do it. Though we have 90% don't speak English. Remember that time. And 90% of India is waiting for pure technology evolution, LLM benefit them.
Actually, I have two questions. One is, we have guidelines for annotation. So we have guidelines for annotation. Like basically, we have certain guidelines for creating data.
Can you speak in the data? I will lost the question.
Okay. So like we have guidelines for annotation and annotation processes.
Dialects.
Guidelines.
Oh, but okay.
So do we have certain guidelines for creating data sets?
I had a lot of these linked files. In fact, I'll give you all of them. I'll send all the files. I'll say I have another guidelines. Yes, we have to have guidelines. Much more in a diverse country like this. Why? Because otherwise, see, an example. How we created data. I created a server called Sanskrit where all these people had their dashboard. Other option was that I would not have created a server. I simply created Excel sheets sending by email. It is possible. Moment you send by email, Google's data. You use Google most likely to save from Google servers. Right? So idea is to have a centralized server on JU's network and you directly log in there. Right? So data is not going anywhere. So we have to plan all of this. And also guidelines because the tagging speed, for example. I have tagging Malayalam very different than tagging Hindi. So you have your Malayalam tag set and guideline for Malayalam to tag Malayalam. Translation, for example, there was one sentence in Hindi that I always discuss. सूरज की किरणों ने अपने आंचल पसार दिए. Don't you understand Hindi? We project by Hindi to Indian language. This sentence was about the beauty of Arunachal Pradesh. You know. So सूरज की किरणों ने अपने आंचल पसार दिए. The sun rays spread out its आंचल. आंचल I know अतुल क्या कहेंगे हिंदी में आंचल. So Marathi group says we can't translate this sentence into Marathi. Achal is, when the women they cover. Like this is achal. This is achal, chunni. So सूरज की किरणों ने आंचल पसार दी. This is early morning description, poetic description. Marathi group said, I cannot translate this sentence. This is about translation guideline. Why? Because Kiran is masculine in Marathi. A masculine cannot have achal. Hindi achal possible, Kiran is feminine, achal is possible, Marathi Kiran is masculine, achal is not possible. So translation guidelines, you have to have all these nuances. If you run into this problem, what to do. Otherwise, it will be chaotic. In a country like India, things will be very chaotic. We have to imagine all the situations, possible situations, and come up with that. In tagging also, something is adjective as well as now, something problem now, this now, all of that.
Depends on the context.
All of them.
Yeah, depends on the context. The POS maybe vary. A lot of chances.
Okay. So the data created by ICLI, is it available for researchers? Can we use it?
There is a story about it. So we created the data, and then the biggest problem that I had, that data must be reaching the people. And I knew that government will not be always funding the project. So we had to monetize the data. So a lot of meetings we had, we persuaded the government to allow selling of the data, sale of the data. Government, it was the first project when government agreed to monetize the data. We had a lot of meetings. I think one meeting I had in JNU also, where Google had participated, Reliance had participated. They wanted to buy data. Then several meetings. Finally, government agreed. We created a nice document. The data will be now up for sale. One file will be 1 crore rupees. It was so expensive, 100,000 sentences. And data will be hosted by, and the people were there to buy, Data will be hosted by CDAC on this server, and 10% will be taken by CDAC, and 90% will come to JNU. The JNU will distribute between the partners who create. For example, Malayalam data. If Google buys it, they will pay 1 crore rupees for English to Hindi to Malayalam parallel corpora. 10%, 10 lakh is CDAC, 90 lakh comes to JNU. Then 90 lakh will be distributed by JNU and triple ITN. Right? There was that logic. And document was prepared, and now it came to me for signing. Now the story is, I am the project's PI. I have 17, 18 co-PIs, like Malayalam co-PI, Telugu co-PI, all of that. So I told JNU that please allow me to sign the document. Unless I sign, data will not be hosted by CDAC. JNU says, no, you can sign on your own. This is a project, this and that, and this document kept on going back and forth. Then there was a clause in the document that any legal thing will be handled at Pune. CDAC is Pune. JNU said, no, it should be at Delhi. A lot of this back and forth happened. Finally, they said, no, we gave it up. Data is not hosted, data is with me. If you want to get data, you write to TDIL, and data can be getting for free. You fill up the form, and you get it for free.
Yeah.
But anybody else can.
TDL DC having this data, then you can direct log into that one. Then there is a form. This data is used only for, they are mentioned about that data, it's only for the research and academic purpose, not for the commercial purpose.
But it's so sad, it should be commercialized.
Yeah.
We had done a lot of work in getting the private sector to agree to buy data.
Around
Let's see how
60
much
years.
money. If that money had come, I would have, my project will continue. If any government doesn't call it, that model was working. A lot of work we did.
Yeah, around
But
6
finally,
years we were.
genius says, "Oh, we're not, we cannot sign it. Sign it on your own." How can I sign on my own? I'm genius employee. So a lot of these things happen in a typical situation in India. There's so many stories of running a project. There was this Uriya group, we had this PI in Utkal University Sanskrit department. Head was given PI. Ministry made PI themselves. They did not ask me. So this guy was PI and he did not do any work. He gave them the first installment. Then he retired. And that project was finished. We got the second phase of the project. Now the audit people say, "Oh, this Uriya group, UC hasn't come." I said, "We have given them money. They did not do anything, so we have written zero balance. So no, we have to give UC from them." Now I'm searching for that PI. He has retired. He doesn't respond to my queries. Then finally, I went to the university. We friended the registrar. She was a new lady, had got an appointment. So I made friends with her. And then she stopped his pension. And then he came back to the university, then completed the UC program. A lot of experiences. Then we had the new partner over there. So running a project in India, makes you very experienced. And you to handle situations like that. A lot of these people in America, I've known, they say they want a deputation in India because working in India makes the bad more brilliant because they have worked in difficult situations. So this is a difficult country to work in. But yes, we have to work because this is 90% of India needs technology to progress. And we need their talent. But they may be equally talented, intelligent. Perhaps more intelligent than all of us. And then we are just not accessing their talent. So we have to access their talent.
Okay, now I think the time is around 1:30. Our session up to 1 o'clock, but sir finished in time. But yeah, the interactions with the sir, actually, I am very happy. The sir is interacting with our upcoming researchers in this area. Then they have a lot of doubts, especially the upcoming researchers have the issues with the data, the collect the data, then how to get the standard data, what is the standardization. Okay, then the next 11 days we will discuss with all these stuffs, then how to over